what you want. We are here to update you on the global coverage.
The 50-boat convoy has been challenging Israel's bombing for a month and is now approaching Gaza. Tensions are rising as to whether the flotilla will be able to reach Gaza. The first 3 attempts have been unsuccessful. Israel did not allow it to reach. But the courage of the people on board the flotilla is going to explode. This is an incident that should be kept in mind at all times. When did you see such a sight? The Israeli army has surrounded a part of the land from all sides. The population of hundreds of thousands has been bombed continuously for the past 2 years. The people living there are starving, there is no medicine, no doctor, and they cannot even let a reporter go. The world has seen this helplessness for many months. But thousands of people from 40 countries have left for Gaza with a 50-boat convoy, with the announcement that there is no one, we are here and we are coming. The passengers on the flotilla say that their mission is not only for humanitarian aid. In fact, we want to send a message to the world that the people who fight for injustice and human dignity are still in this world. In this era, there are many stories of heroic sea voyages in human history. But hundreds of people on board the flotilla did not only take iron from the sea, but also from Israel. They took iron from Israel, which seems in front of the bombing by. The Prime Minister and President of the world are scrolling beside, but their people, leaving their faith and religion, are refusing to accept the bloodshed as the garland of flowers. They are rebelling and opposing. You see, how many times have people demonstrated in different countries? There are no weapons on the boats included in the flotilla. There are food and drink items, medicines. Their weapon is nonviolence, moral strength, and courage, putting their lives at risk. They are moving toward Gaza. These people say that Israel can capture our boats, but not our intentions. It can attack our ships, but not our movement. It should be remembered that the waves of the sea return again and again. The words of the people on board the flotilla, their intentions are shocking. At this time, everyone should keep an eye on it. It should be shown in schools how some people in this world are standing up against violence. They are challenging the country that has closed all roads to Gaza. People are being surrounded and killed. To end this blockade. To challenge it, this fleet of boats is moving toward Gaza. It is a very miraculous and rare moment. To see the brave people of the flotilla, to read the news related to them, and to tell you, this is not just a journey to provide humanitarian aid. Rather, it is a protest against the unethical confinements of power. Against the people who are being killed in the flotilla Gaza, in the blue waters of the Mediterranean, a magnificent history of human ethical violence has begun to be written.
Of international activists has entered high-risk waters, with Israel reportedly preparing to intercept the convoy despite its presence in international seas. Israel's public broadcaster Khan reported on Wednesday that the Israeli military has drawn up plans to take control of the global Sumud flotilla using naval commandos and warships. The broadcaster said Israel would not tow all 50 vessels but instead intends to sink some of them at sea. Hundreds of activists abroad are expected to be detained, questioned and later deported through the port of Ashdod, according to the report. The global Sumud flotilla, the largest maritime mission to Gaza to date, set sail from Spain on August 31 and includes more than 50 vessels with delegations from at least 44 countries. Organizers say the mission seeks to break Israel's naval blockade and deliver humanitarian aid to the besieged enclave. International maritime law restricts such operations. Coastal states have sovereignty over territorial waters extending 12 nautical miles from their shores and rights over an exclusive economic zone up to 200 nautical miles. However, ships in the international waters beyond 12 nautical miles are generally free from interference by other states, raising Israel's question about Israel's reported plan to board or disable the flotilla. The flotilla's progress is being closely tracked, with its arrival in Gaza expected early next week if it avoids interception. Previous aid flotillas have faced deadly confrontations with Israeli forces, most notably the 2010 raid on the Mavi Marwara that left 9 activists dead.
Joining us now from Athens. So thank you very much indeed for being with us. It's Rob Matheson here in Doha at Al Jazeera. Can you just tell me what you're hearing from the ships in the Mediterranean about what's happening?
Well, we definitely received the news that some of the ships were surrounded by military vessels. Others lost all type of internet connection, and we still have a video with very few of those ships. We continue getting notifications about the information that comes from the Israeli Navy vessels. They have sent a notification warning the vessels that it's illegal to provide humanitarian aid to Gaza, which is not surprising. I mean, this is the whole policy of the Israeli government, to starve the Palestinian population until death and to impose seizure and genocide. And they don't want to be asked why this is why do you commit these crimes? And they don't want to answer or be accountable to anyone. Our ships will continue sailings. The ones that are not surrounded or blocked will continue on their way to Gaza. And regardless of the outcome of this night,
Masood, our correspondent earlier, who was saying that morale is very high, that people were preparing for the action that may be taken against them. Can you give me an idea of what kind of preparations people have been taking in the event that the ships are towed away from the site and possibly Israeli forces may board the ships?
Well, this is a non-violent, peaceful movement. People coming from all parts of the world, a civil society, to protest genocide and complicity and the siege and blockade on Gaza. We do that training based on non-violence principles. We prepare people for the different scenarios that might happen of an interception or an attack. Also, our legal team goes through training, explaining what could happen in case of detention and the different steps. So we try to provide the maximum information possible, knowing that this is an illegal process. This is a process of, piracy being committed by the Israeli government in the international waters of the Mediterranean. So we have to prepare the people how to understand that illegal actions are going to be committed by a government in the Mediterranean, and that their governments are going to continue to be silenced and complicit, and for them to practice and prepare themselves to handle that injustice. An injustice that Palestinians have been handling for the past 78 years, injustice that Palestinians in Gaza and West Bank have been dealing with this recent genocide for the past 22 months.
I understand what you were saying, that some of the boats are intending to continue, even if others are stopped. What is the point at which you would actually stop the whole flotilla? What would have to be the circumstances under which the whole flotilla would have to stop?
Well, of course, a direct injury or threat on the life of our participants is our red line that we are not willing to cross at any point. The detention and interception is something that is expected to happen by criminal governments such as the Israeli government. And if a boat is being intercepted, if a boat is being boarded by the Israeli army and the participants are being kidnapped, the rest of the fleet continues. In case that there is a rescue mission needed, then we support our colleagues and participants, and their safety and life will become our priority.
I'm not scared of Israel. I'm scared of a world that has seemingly lost all sense of humanity. And what we are doing here is trying to show that there is still some humanity left, that there are still people willing to step up when all other means fail. But this is a last resort. This mission should not have to exist. Free Palestine! Free Palestine! The closer we get to Gaza, the higher is the risk of escalation and more attacks. The last weeks we have seen numerous escalated attacks against our mission that has damaged several boats, where drones have been dropping explosions, chemicals and unidentified objects on and around boats in a desperate attempt to intimidate us and to silence and scare those who are standing in solidarity with Palestine and to further dehumanize Palestinians.
No international journalists have been able to enter Gaza since October 7th. What's much worse is that more than 200 Palestinian journalists, media workers have been killed in this conflict, largely by Israeli strikes. The most high-profile example of late was Anas al-Sharif, an Al Jazeera journalist who kind of became the face of Gaza because he, with his flak jacket and his helmet that said press, was the voice of Gaza reporting. Anas was killed earlier this summer in an Israeli airstrike, along with his whole production team. And, what's so sad, it's what's really worth emphasizing is these journalists are also suffering from malnutrition. They're also suffering and facing tremendous strife just to tell the day's news and tell the story of their friends, their family, their country people. I mean, there's so many incidents, and some have also occurred in Lebanon and the West Bank and elsewhere. With that kind of scale of killing of journalists, it's hard not to see a kind of systematic attack on the press. It's not that we're totally lost in terms of getting information out of Gaza. There's still citizen journalists. There's still many on social media sharing their stories. But when you look at the amount of journalists Israel has reportedly killed in Gaza and the inability of international reporters to get in, there's many stories we just haven't heard yet and are likely to still emerge from that besieged territory.
Hey guys, this is my last message. Hopefully not my last ever message, but we're entering the red zone.
Sono le 3:35 del mattino, ora locale del 1 ottobre. We are prepared for hostile interception.
Ci ha navigato attorno molto velocemente, gemmando tutti i sistemi di sicurezza, telecamere e strumentazione di navigazione.
Hi havia més presència, en concret un submarí militar que estava rodejant el nostre vaixell, ha donat diverses voltes al voltant del nostre vaixell.
Pourquoi nous n'acceptons pas les propositions de the waters in the Mediterranean before we are kidnapped?
I went on this mission for my kids because I can't countenance them growing up in a world where people just turn their back on other people being mass murdered and starved to death.
Fire! Fire! I'm so blinking! I'm blinking!
We are trying to bring essential aid to the brothers and sisters of Gaza who are facing Holocaust, a genocide, and starvation.
Okay, everyone, phones need to go. Phones need to go, please. Don't in the water. In the water.
Killed by the Israeli army have now asked all the passengers to go inside. They've raised the white flag.
اليوم في الليل ما صار حد شيء وما عملوش الانترسبشن. غدوه 10 متاع الصباح ان شاء الله الاسطول الكل يكون على شواطئ غزه.
I don't know what's ahead, but all I do know is that whatever happens, there is going to be a relentless conveyor belt of humanity and hope behind us. If I don't get there, I know my comrades behind me will get there. And I know that one day, very, very soon, Palestine will be free. Love to you all. Peace and love. See you on the other side.
My name is Yasmin Ajar, steering committee member of Global Sumud Flotilla. Right behind me is the military vessel. They are intercepting us right now. We do not know how they will intercept us. I can currently only see one big military vessel. They have their lights off. We are in position right now. We're telling everyone to put their life vests on. Again, we are a non-violent mission. We carry nothing but humanitarian aid. We are hundreds of activists from around the world. We are almost 50 vessels, and we are being currently intercepted by the Israeli occupation forces in international waters. We are 145 nautical miles away from the shores of Gaza. And again, they are breaching international law. And if they attack us, this would be a war crime on the long list, added to the long list of war crimes of the Zionist entity.
Now, the Gaza flotilla is entering a danger zone as it moves closer to Gaza. The flotilla is in trouble as Italy has also moved back and reducing its role by withdrawing a full escort and only sending one ship in a limited capacity. But Spain is stepping forward. Its prime minister says a Spanish warship will shadow the flotilla, calling it a strictly humanitarian mission that poses no threat to Israel. From drone strikes to naval deployments, this convoy is turning into a test of diplomacy and power. Now, after a month of sailing toward Gaza, only 20 hours are remaining struggling to reach the destination. The main news is organizers say roughly 300 to 500 activists are involved in this flotilla, and if anything happens to them, then Israel will be responsible for it. Right now, flotilla is moving nonstop following Spain warship, but the 100 of Israeli boats are also ready. More news are coming, and we will keep you updated.
As a Jewish person and as an American, I am horrified by the Israeli government's massacre of well over 65,000 Palestinians in Gaza. I am ashamed and infuriated that this mass murder is funded by our American tax dollars. I know that my condemnation of Israel's bombardment of Gaza is not despite what I learned in Hebrew school, but because of it. I love being Jewish, and I am so proud of my tradition. Israel's actions are not in the name of Jewish safety, and it is the very conflation of Israel's actions with the Jewish people that continues to endanger Jews around the world. We have to look into the tearful eyes of the children of Palestine orphaned by American bombs and say, no, never again is now, never again for anyone. Visibility is a responsibility. Those of us who have a platform must use our voices to ensure that speaking out is not outlawed altogether. Thank you.
You are instructed to change your course. Any further attempts to sail toward Gaza endangers your safety and places you within an active war zone. If you continue on your route and attempt to breach the naval blockade, we will stop your vessel and act to confiscate it through legal proceedings in court.
Attention, Israel offensive forces. This is Thiago Avila from the steering committee of the global Sumud Flotilla. We advise you that we are a humanitarian, non-violent solidarity mission to break the illegal siege imposed by Israel 18 years ago against the Palestinian people in Gaza and to create a humanitarian corridor. We carry only food, aid, we carry water filters, we carry crutches, we carry baby formula for the people that you've been starving to death. I repeat, you've been committing genocide for 8 decades and ethnic cleansing against the Palestinian people, and that is absolutely against international law. Once again, we are in international waters, which is not your jurisdiction. We are heading to Palestinian territorial waters, which is not your jurisdiction, despite the fact that you think you can occupy that land. But all of this is completely illegal. The highest judicial authority in the world, the International Court of Justice, in their provisional rulings on the case opened by South Africa against you for the crime of genocide, clearly stated that you are prohibited to hinder any humanitarian mission to get to Gaza. Once again, in a planet of 8 billion people, people despise you starving children to death, bombing hospitals, schools, and shelters. We are here with the conscience of the world, moving peacefully in a non-violent humanitarian mission to take this aid. You are not allowed by international law to stop us. Therefore, we do not comply with your request, because your request is still an attempt to perpetuate the genocide of the Palestinian people. We are here in solidarity with them, so we do not comply with occupation, with an apartheid system, and with a racist and supremacist ideology called Zionism. Over.
We repeat.
Donc là, vous voyez l'interception. Là, on a un autre bateau qui appartient à la flottille. Et là, tout ce que vous voyez en plus des petits bateaux, c'est les zodiacs israéliens. Généralement, il y a un drone au-dessus qui récupération de la. Là, c'est une interception d'un de nos bateaux.
We do not comply with occupation, with an apartheid system, and with a racist and supremacist ideology called Zionism. Over.
We repeat, this is the Israeli Navy. You are approaching a blockaded zone. If you wish to deliver aid to Gaza, you may do so through the established channels. Please change your course for the port of Asud, where the aid will undergo a security inspection and then be transferred into the Gaza Strip. Attempting to reach the Gaza Strip via sea while breaching the naval blockade violates international law and poses a direct security threat to Israel and its citizens. You are instructed to change your course. Any further attempt to sail toward Gaza endangers your safety and places you within an active war zone. If you continue on your route and attempt to breach the naval blockade, we will stop your vessel and act to confiscate it through legal proceedings in court. You bear full responsibility for your actions.
We do not comply with occupation, with an apartheid system, and with a racist and supremacist ideology called Zionism. Over.
We repeat, this is the Israeli Navy. You are approaching a blockaded zone. If you wish to deliver aid to Gaza, you may do so through the established channels. Please change your course for the port of Asud, where the aid will undergo a security inspection and then be transferred into the Gaza Strip. Attempting to reach the Gaza Strip via sea while breaching the naval blockade violates international law and poses a direct security threat to Israel and its citizens. You are instructed to change your course. Any further attempt to sail toward Gaza endangers your safety and places you within an active war zone. If you continue on your route and attempt to breach the naval blockade, we will stop your vessel and act to confiscate it through legal proceedings in court. You bear full responsibility for your actions.
Mariam? Tarek the Father.